Bright Duty. Every student matters.
Hello dear students, today we will be taking up the first chapter of 9th class physics, that is motion. Alright. Now whenever we see around us, we see so many objects. Fine. Now when we see all those objects, we see that there are certain objects which are there only whenever we look at them. But there are certain objects which change their position continuously with respect to time. So based on this observation, we relate that there are certain objects which are at a state of rest. At a state of rest. Now at the state of rest, I mean to say that they are stationary objects, means they do not change their position with respect to time. They are where they were, alright. But if we talk about other objects, we see that a few moments back they were at one place and after such time they change their position. Then we say that those objects are in a state of motion or those objects are moving, right. Let us take a few examples to explain the state of rest and the state of motion. When we talk about state of rest, we can take a few examples, like if we see our house. Whenever we come back home from school or wherever we go, we see that our house was where it was. It is always there. It is not moving, it is not changing its position, it is not moving around, right. So we say that our house is in a state of rest. Our school, the railway station, the airport, the walls of our house, fine, the electricity poles that we see daily, the shops that we see around us, they all are in a state of rest, fine. But when we see people around us, we do not find one person sitting at one particular place throughout all the time we are looking at it, fine. He or she moves around. The vehicles, the cars, the buses, the metro, all these we see that they change their position, right. So we say that these objects are in a state of motion. Now it is quite a confusing concept if you see. Confusing in the sense, there are certain times when we feel that the object is at rest or stationary, but actually it is moving. For example, the earth on which we are residing, we are living, right. We have learnt in our science or otherwise also we know that our earth moves on its own axis and also around the sun, but we do not see anything spinning around us, do we? No, right. Similarly, there are so many things which we feel to be stationary, but they are actually in motion. And there are certain other aspects also, like we find certain objects to be moving, but they are actually stationary. Have you ever felt that you are sitting in a train and if in relative to that train and another train is moving, you feel that you yourself are moving, right. So why does this happen? This is what we will be going to study in this particular chapter, as to why the objects move and why they are in motion or how they are in motion. Whenever we talk of motion, first of all we said that these are the objects which change their position with respect to time. When we talk about changing their position with respect to time, first of all we need to relate a reference point. We need to relate a reference point to which we call origin. Just try to understand it with the help of an example. For example, this is a bus stand, right. I say that this is a bus stand of our area. Now I will take this as an origin or a reference point, fine. A bus is coming from this direction. If I looked at the bus from this bus stand, standing at this bus stand, I will see that at this particular point in time, the bus is at this position. Let this position be A. After 2, 3 or 5 seconds, I will find that now the bus is here, let us say at a position B, right, standing from here only. After another 5 seconds, I will see that the bus has stopped in front of me at this particular bus stand, let us say at this point C. Right? After all the passengers just went up the bus, now this bus has started moving, and this bus now moves away, recedes away from me. I am still standing here at the bus stand looking at this bus. This is at a point D, and again after some seconds at point E. Right? So now if I take this bus stand as a reference point, I see that the bus has changed its position consistently and continuously. This particular change in position refers that this particular bus is in motion, but this is in motion with this bus stop as a reference point. Now let us take the same example, but now I am not standing at the bus stop, but actually I am one of the passengers in the bus, and I am this passenger who is sitting with this passenger opposite to me. Right. Now when firstly we took the observation at point A, I was here with respect to the bus and with respect to the fellow passenger. At this point B, I am sitting in the bus at the same position. My position has not changed. My fellow passenger's position has not changed. The seats of the bus have not changed their position. The bus itself has not changed its position. So wherever, at whichever position I will relate, I will find my fellow passengers and all the seats in the bus to be at their same positions. So if I myself take myself as a reference point and then I relate the fellow passenger's position, then in that case both of us were not in motion with respect to each other. So you have got it, what exactly I am trying to say? That one thing may be in motion or one thing may be it's not in motion, it is stationary. It all depends on the reference point with respect to which we are considering it. Got it? Fine? Alright.